Welcome to the Misfit Squad Podcast,
where we invite you to embrace your difference and to discover a spectrum of possibilities and change what's wrong about you into what is strong about you.
We're your hosts. I'm kimlucien.
And I'm trinarice. We're the Misfits. What's your superpower?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Misfit Squad Podcast, and today's show, May the Force be with you. Getting an energetic download. So, my question to you is, have you ever gotten an energetic download? Or do you have no idea what we're talking about? So, what does that look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? Does it smell like something? So, just like a spring rain shower, it can pop up out of nowhere. So can an energetic download. Will you be ready?
I don't know.
So what's an energetic download? Have you ever had those moments where like just suddenly it's like you know something? Or for me, like a lot of times, like I'll be writing, especially when I'm writing by hand, and then just like all this stuff will just like information will just like come out onto the paper, and I'm like, whoa, where did the hoop? I didn't know that.
And you start writing really fast.
Yeah. That is an example of an energetic download. What about you, Trina?
You know, to me, an energetic download is just like where you're willing to receive information. You ask a question sometimes, and when we talk about asking a question, we're not talking about trying to find the answer to it. So say you got something that's problematic or going on in your life. I'm trying to think of a good example, and I don't have one right now. Maybe you're, I don't know, planning on a trip and you don't know whether you should choose to go or when you should choose to go. I mean, that's a simple example. But like, you know, if you have a question in your head, or maybe you have a question about a business or a book you're writing, whatever, it's kind of like you ask a question and you just like leave it out there in the ethers or in space, whatever you want to call it. And when you're willing to do that at different times, you can get information. I mean, this is how like painters, think about like all the amazing artists that we have, and even authors and musicians who just get the download of a piece of music and the notes that go with it and the rhythm. That's what we're talking about. And so it happens at different times, but really it is about being in the question and the wonder. And so sometimes for me, if I have something going on, I don't know, it showed up a lot for me when like I'm taking a shower. I'd be taking a shower and standing there and I'll be like, oh yeah, that. And it can also be like, you know, you have a conversation with your friend and you're like, you know, blah, blah, blah. I remember that time. And then you never quite finished your conversation because you're like, I wonder what that really meant. And then you're like, 2 days later, you're taking a shower and you're like, oh my gosh, I got it. That's what we're talking about.
The shower's a popular one. It happens for lots of people in the shower.
You can also do it while you're sitting on the toilet. Sometimes that happens, you know. Nothing wrong about a good poop every now and then.
For me, it actually happens a lot when I'm at the ranch walking around with the horses and not really like when I'm just sort of like being with them and not really like specifically doing something. So I do think that when you try to get them, it doesn't usually work. So it happens when you are almost like, I don't want to say distracted, but when you're not like super focused on something, it's like when you sort of like fuzz the focus.
Yep.
Does that make sense? And then it allows that to come in, and it can show up in so many ways. And the more you start to acknowledge that piece of information was an energetic download, then the more they show up, the easier they show up, the easier they are to recognize. And I guarantee you 100%, you have all experienced it. You will continue to experience it, even though, you know, this definitely applies to everyone. You are not exempt. Those of you sitting out there thinking like, this does not happen to me. Yes, it does.
You know, it's also like the times when you have a question or something's up in your life and you go to sleep. Sometimes it can show up like in dreams, or it can show up in that in-between state where you're like half asleep, half awake, and you wake up and you're like, oh. A lot of times you'll hear people say, leave a pen or a pencil and a notepad by your bedside. And there's that times, and then you get up and you're like, oh, that, and you like write. And then kind of like what Kim said at the beginning, then things start showing up that you didn't even know.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, it doesn't have to be, because, you know, you hear like energetic downloads and you think, oh, woohoo, and spiritual and metaphysical. And like, it doesn't have to be about that or like that. For my dad's an amazing musician. And my mom and him used to sleep with a tablet and a pen next to the bed, because he would wake up with like lyrics spewing out of his mouth, and they would both like furiously be trying to write it down. For me, what used to happen a lot when I was early in my finance career is I would have these like complicated kind of math problems that we couldn't figure out like how to like approach it. And I would go to sleep, and the next morning I would be like, oh, well, we got to. I used to say all the time, like, I should really get paid while I'm sleeping, because I figure a lot of stuff out in my sleep.
That's very true.
Yeah. So those are all energetic downloads. And now they happen for me all the time, not when I'm sleeping.
By the way, just a side note, you could ask to make money while you're sleeping. You know, It might show up.
Yes. I should really do that.
Yeah. But you're just a number nerd. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so it shows up in different ways, and it doesn't have to be all woohoo or anything like that. Like really, it is asking a question and then receiving the information. And it may show up like you might be talking to your neighbor or a friend, and they say something that you're like, oh my God, that's what I was asking for. Or it may be you open up a magazine that you get in the mail, or the newspaper, and it's that article, and that's exactly what you needed to hear or you needed to see. It can show up in all different ways like that. So an energetic download shows up all different ways, but it's allowing the force to be with you. I just had to say that.
All right. Well, that's really all we have on energetic downloads, at least for today. So if you'd like more of us and what we offer, you can go to energeticsignatureformula.com, pop in your email address. You'll get a link to a free download, 6 tips to beat anxiety and overwhelm. Or you can go to isyourbodyourbuddy.com, pop in your email, and you can download our free ebook, How to Make Your Body Your Buddy, Tools to Creating a Greater Relationship with Your Body.
You mean you have choices?
Choices. Until next time, everybody. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the show.
Our target is to make your awareness easy to use and to acknowledge the power of not fitting in.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube and share it with someone you know.
Why fit in when you were born to stand out?
Embrace your difference. Join the Misfit Squad.